Hello and welcome back to the test track. Well, today's the day we're going to test out this new plated Super 4. I've still got a few pieces just to put back in, but I've nearly finished reassembly. The inner circuit, you will notice it hasn't been replated. Well, not the first radius curves, I haven't got around to that, but I haven't been using the inner circuit anyway. But before we get the rest of it back together, I just thought I'd show you how after servicing I just give the points a bit of a continuity test. So I've got this great old Pifco circuit tester, so clip it onto the rail. Now it should be isolated on the frog, and then flick it over and away it lights. I hope you can see that on the camera because it is quite sunny in here. I'll do it again. There. And then the same with the other side. That's straight through, isolated. So if I click onto this bit with my crocodile clip, point set straight, point sets curved. So I'll just check the other points. Not really going to go into the reassembly of these, it's just putting back together virtually reverse of the taking apart. Just make sure all the contact pads are really clean. The two little springs that contact the rails underneath the alloy parts are fine, and you shouldn't have any trouble. Right, so I think it's time to run a train or two. So I've got the ones out that we've already seen on the layout. So just bear with me a minute. I'll just switch the camera off, get the rest of these track pieces in, and then we'll start running some of the locos and see how they handle the nickel. Okay. Well, I've just got the last bit to put in, but before I put it in, I just thought a couple of people have mentioned that they're worried how slippery this track might be, and it is a concern of mine as well because it's like a mirror. So let's just see if the magnehension still works through the nickel. So I'll get this brush, which has got quite good magnehension, and place it on, and there you can see it's got the track quite well. Let's have a look at the B12. I think it must have only got magnehension on the rear wheels actually, which it has. But as you can see, it is gripping it, but perhaps not quite as well as steel, and it does feel a little slippery. Right, well, let's just get this last section in. There we go. Now, over on this section of the oval, I've got quite a long goods train. So I'm going to just put the First of all, I'm going to try the brush because I was a bit disappointed with how that ran after I gave it a bit of an overhaul. So let's just get it sitting on the track. Happy with that, right? And let's see how we go. Okay, let's move off slowly. Let's just leave it like that for a minute, see how it goes over these points. Well, that's nice and smooth. A little bit more power. Watch this train go by. Now before it was much slower on the curves, but now it seems that it's running correctly. So it's quite a good long train I've got on there. Okay, well, we've moved a little bit further away now so we can see the whole oval, and the speed now is a little bit increased and it's running really nicely. No slowing down in the corners, just as it should be. So it's definitely a huge difference with this nickel track compared to what we had before. It's running very quietly, all the wagons seem to be behaving themselves, and the whole thing is running, well, I'm really very happy with it. So let's just zoom in a little bit. Yeah, it's like a completely different engine. So it was really pointless trying to run anything on that old track. I mean, I even gave it a cursory clean, but it was very, very pitted. But this is just a different thing altogether. And I think it's much quieter. The rolling stock seems to, the rolling resistance is much reduced as well, so I'm just going to leave that running round a second and adjust it now for a slower, more scale speed. You can see the difference between the inner circuit of first radius curves, which are old, and the nice clean nickel of the second radius curves, which this is running round. So that's absolutely going beautifully. So I am more than happy with that. And crossing the points nicely as well. You can hardly tell from the noise that it's even going over a junction. Let's just listen to that as it comes round. Super smooth. It's one of my favourite locomotives. I mean, that could happily run around there for an hour or two, I think. I haven't got my meter with me at the moment, but it will be interesting to do a comparison on the power consumption, because I would imagine that it's actually much reduced. Well, time for a change, I think, so we'll just let that run around another minute or so. And then I think we'll perhaps go for the little 3F. Okay, here's the 3F on the track, and we're just going to get this train nicely over those points. Is he going to pull it? Moment of truth. Slow start, hopefully. It's heavy. Yeah, we're away. What a lovely little thing this 3F is. If you'd have seen it, and you might indeed have seen the video where fetched out the bottom of the box, wheels all corroded, not run for years, and now look at it pulling this lovely long goods train, and smooth as you like. Well, I'm pleased that that's actually pulling that long train, because there is no doubt this track is a bit slippery. There's a little bit of magnehension on this model, but I think in terms of scale that's a good sized train for a little old 3F to be pulling. Right, I'm going to pan out now and then we'll just see how slowly we can get her to go round. Right, well, let's just look at that go by there. Isn't that a nice sight? Over the points. No hesitation. I must say I'm now really pleased with the hours of plating that I've taken to get these bits of tracking, experimenting with different voltage settings and different concentrations. But it looks to me now that this could be the way forward. Right, I'm just going to back it up there for you, and then I think we'll wind her up a bit and see how she goes at speed. Well, that's certainly flying round there now. Very smooth, very happy. I think what we're going to do now is introduce a couple of locomotives we haven't seen before and see how they perform on this track. I haven't got many locomotives with nickel wheels, but I've found a pannier. So let's see how nickel wheels and nickel track mix. Okay, so we've got the pannier on track, nickel wheels, a little bit of magnehension in there as well. Not bad. I think that's going to be fine. Let's reverse it up. Okay, let's try for a nice slow start. Now this model is a bit stiff because I haven't used it really much, and it could do with a bit of an overhaul. Always a little bit of a noisy model. You can see there the speed's going up and down a bit. Might run itself in. just needs the pickups cleaning, a bit more lubrication, but those nickel wheels are gripping the track nicely and it's pulling the train well. Now I haven't got that many locomotives with nickel wheels, as I say, mainly mine are all steel, but I do have a few, some Wren, a couple of Hornbys, so I'm sure we'll be seeing these in the future. But right now it's looking okay to have nickel wheels on this homemade nickel plated Super 4. Right, well, we'll just let that go around a bit more, and then I think we'll put another engine on that we haven't seen around this test layout yet. So I'll just change them over now. Yeah, pannier smells a bit tri-ang-y, ready for a service. So let's just reverse these wagons a little bit and put this nice 060 Diesel Shunter on, a real favourite of mine. Let's couple up. Right, well, away she goes, shunting yard speed. XO4 motor earning its keep. Now a lot of people decry this model a little bit, scale issues. But to me it's a really nice thing, and it's certainly pulling this train well, and I'm looking forward to building my main layout and using this in the shunting yard with a couple of uncoupling ramps and electric points. There'll be hours of fun to be had shunting with this. Oh, what a nice smooth runner, and that's certainly quite happy on this nickel track. So I think it's time for the B12 now. So I'll just let this shunter go round, and then we'll give the B12 a run behind this goods train. Okay, here's the B12, let's back it up and get hooked up. Yep, no trouble moving that train. Now we did run this quite fast the other week, and I had a message from one viewer who said they were on the edge of their seats worrying it was going to fly off the rails. So today we'll run at a more scale speed. There won't be any smoke of course at this speed, but as you can see it's making short work of this freight train on this track. It's a nice runner, this B12, and it's getting smoother and smoother all the time. Now you might notice in the centre of the table there's one locomotive that we haven't had on the track yet. So I think we'll try the little old dock shunter next. I'll just let this B12 go around a couple more times, but running very smooth and constant speed. Okay, so the dock shunter's on the layout. Let's get coupled up. Running smooth. Connection. Moving away. Oh dear. Now here, we obviously have our first potential problem with the nickel. Maybe we need some assistance. Well, it does indeed seem that the little dock shunter with no magnehension and very limited weight is unable to move this train by itself, but never fear. A little bit of help and we're underway. Now, is this due to the knurled wheels? The slippery nickel? I don't know. I mean, you can definitely hear those wheels. They make a different noise on the track, quite a pleasing noise. But with the double heading here, we're having no trouble pulling. And it's quite nice to see the two dock shunters together working hard to pull this little freight train around this oval. Lights glimmering. I guess it's a good time now to talk about the pros and cons of the nickel. I mean, I am happy with it, but I mean, here's the first downside: it is slippery. I mean, there's definitely no doubt the grip is slightly reduced, but with the magnehension on normal steel tracks, some very unscale-like trains were pullable. But we've seen the other engines today cope with this freight train quite easily without any slippage, so I suppose there's going to be a point on any track where we get to the limits of grip. Anyway, I would say that grip is slightly reduced. But on the plus side, conductivity is much improved. I mean, no glitching. The wheels really love the nickel. The electricity seems to flow well from the track surface into the locomotives, no sparking. So I guess that's a plus. Rolling resistance, I mean, the wagons seem to roll along nicely and smoothly as well. I mean, I haven't really gone to town. I mean, I plated it and checked every rail for level, tightened up all the fish plates. I mean, the points, and it's really revolutionised them, taking them apart, plating them and carefully reassembling them. I mean, there's no clicking or bumping about over these points now. Aesthetically, well, it's shiny. Lots of people like shiny things. I mean, I'm quite interested in some shiny things. I haven't got any new old stock Super 4, so can't compare it like for like, and I can't remember quite when I was young what my original was like, so there's definitely some sort of plating on this track because I found evidence of it, so whether it was quite as shiny as this is not a question I can answer, unfortunately. I think it looks quite nice with the clean sleeper bases. But for me, I think I'm going to carry on and plate the rest of my track ready to start my main layout. I'm going to build it a bit at a time, try and get one circuit done, and then just enjoy adding to it. I'm not going to try and do it all at once. And if it runs as well as this, I think I'm going to be very happy. I especially look forward, like I said earlier, to building a shunting yard and enjoying moving a few wagons around. Well, as we watch these two go round, I think that's about it for this week. I've enjoyed putting my test track back together. Watching the engines run round on this reconditioned track, it's like having a whole new set of engines. So it's given me a lot of enthusiasm to carry on with this project. So thanks for watching through this video with me. Hopefully I'll see you all next week. So while these two Dodge Shunters work together to pull this train around the test track, I'll say goodbye.